Well, today's kind of a big day for a lot of different reasons. Apparently, Macron, the leader of France, has now picked a fight against President Trump and kind of the entirety of NATO. He's siding with China and Iran. Obviously, he must have struck some sort of deal because French ships are now passing through the Strait of Hormuz, and he's actually speaking out against encouraging other small nations to rise up against the United States, which is how do you say, dumb to do. And then in addition to that, you also have apparently a bunch of, well, two separate planes have been shot down by Iran, causing maybe the death of an American soldier, American pilot. There's a lot to take a look at in this video, so we're going to cut through all of the crap and get right into the facts. All I ask in return is for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into this. Starting off right here with a second plane. So in addition to the F-15, there was a second plane, an A-10 Warthog, was shot down by Iran today near the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, Iran is saying that the United States requested a 48-hour ceasefire that has since been rejected. A U.S. Black Hawk helicopter struck by Iran crew is accounted for and safe, government officials tell Newsmax. And then earlier this morning, President Trump had a cryptic message where he says, "Keep the oil, anyone?" ? President Trump also today canceled all his press conferences after the convening of national security team over the missing F-15 pilot. And that's the plane that got shot down. Then you have Iranian TV saying anyone who captures the U.S. pilot alive will receive a valuable award, to which some people are saying, say goodbye to their power grids. Mark my words, today is the day. So Americans are obviously really pissed off at what happened with Iran. Now, this account said just in the second pilot died. But it's really important to make sure that you're actually clicking through information, especially on X, because you can see here somebody saying, "Is this official?" To which the account that posted it said, "To be confirmed soon." Interestingly, the first pilot survived, but why the second one? So where are you getting that from? Stay tuned and keep quiet. So that seems like it might be some mis and disinformation or just straight up lies. Then a recount of everything that happened today. An F-15 fighter jet was shot down. One crew member rescued, one still missing. And then two HH-60W Jolie Green 2 rescue helicopters shot down by Iran. Some were wounded. An F-16 declared emergency over Iraq, and then a 135 Strato tanker declared emergency over Israel, and an A-10 Warthog attack aircraft crashed into the Persian Gulf following a strike, and the pilot was rescued. That's a lot of damage that apparently was done to the United States, United States equipment, United States soldiers. So I want to pass a question off to you. How do you feel about this? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling like maybe you're being misled? Let me know what you guys think down below. And then we got to talk about France's Macron, because the French President Macron calls on medium-sized powers to join forces and stand up to the United States and China. Not stand with the United States, but to stand up to the United States. That is, I mean, unprecedented. And then earlier today, or later on today, you had French ships have successfully crossed the Strait of Hormuz. That's apparently confirmed. And so you kind of have to ask, what the heck kind of a deal did Macron do to be able to get his ships to pass through that strait? And then Macron went on television and he said, Europe is an attractive continent. I am saying it because Americans have given me an unprecedented selling point, so I'm using it. At least we are predictable. And he's politely calling Trump a really big clown. Well, President Trump doesn't exactly like that, because recently he had this to say about Macron.
Then I call up France, Macron, whose wife treats him extremely badly, and still recovering from the right to the jaw. And I say, Emmanuel, we'd love to have some help in the Gulf, even though we're setting records and knocking out bad people and knocking out ballistic missiles. Would love to have some help. If you could you please send ships immediately? No. We cannot do that, Donald. We can do that after the war is won. I said, no, I don't need after the war is won, Emmanuel. Many of them said, we'll be there after the war is completed.
Well, not many countries have shown up to really help the United States and President Trump. So that's going to come back to bite them in the ass sooner than later. But in addition to that, you also have this really weird video of Macron where apparently he's flirting with a beautiful woman, even winking at her. What will happen when he returns home to his wife? Now, I believe this is in French. It is, so we're just going to keep it muted and have a look at, the demeanor between him and this woman, where this is the context. This is the only context that we have. Apparently he's overly friendly to her. Apparently he winks at her, but I'm watching this for the first time with you, presuming that this is the first time that you've actually seen this as well. You can see he keeps talking to her, and there you go. He winks right there. That's a little weird. What's he winking? I get some people do that sometimes, but you're the president of a country. Should you be doing that? I don't know. That's a little weird. But again, I'm going to pass the question off to you. How do you feel about this? Is Macron kind of giving you the heebie-jeebies? What's your overall take of him? Because he's kind of a weird guy, isn't he? I mean, I think we can all see that. I think we can all see the weird dynamic between him and his wife. And then we got to take a look at this Joe Rogan podcast clip where he's having guest Theo Vaughn, his good friend Theo Vaughn, on, and they start talking about the Iran war. And well, maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't, but let's have a little peek.
Terrifying.
But I mean, I wouldn't call it he does war, but I
you mean what they're doing right now in Gaza?
Yeah, and I'm not jumping on you.
Iran is war. That's war. Iran's a real enemy. It's a different.
Are they an enemy to America?
Well, what they are is the largest country in terms of like state-sponsored terrorism. They're the largest sponsor of terrorism. But also, you got to think why. And this is not excusing anybody for.
So there's different arguments that you can be had, right? One argument is if you're not posing an imminent threat to us in the West, then why should we even bat an eye, right? Something like 9/11 that took place. You can actually have a tangible, really bad thing that happened and pinpoint it to really bad people and say, well, now we're going to take our anger out and, go and fuck your shit up kind of thing. And then the flip side of that argument is why the hell would anyone wait for a 9/11 type of attack to ever take place again before you have a response? So in order to get rid of the bad guys, you need to have a preemptive response. And it's a very tricky thing to navigate right now. So before I click play, I kind of want to pass the question off to you. How do you feel about Iran? Do you think that this is justified? Are you agreeing with the president's decision to go and to, bomb Iran and to try to clear out the regime? Or do you think that this is not America's war? I'd really like to know what you guys think, because this podcast clip, what we're about to see them talk about, it has shattered the internet because of exactly what I just said.
Islamist ideology, because it's scary, because they want a global caliphate, right? They're radicals. But you got to go back to what happened in that country. And if you go back to what happened in that country, they tried to nationalize oil. Iran was like a westernized country. Girls were wearing miniskirts. Everybody's hot.
You seen that video from the 70s of Iran?
Yeah, bro. Everybody
Tits
looked
popping.
great.
Just popping.
What happened is slowly but surely, and quickly at first, because when they tried to nationalize oil, the CIA swooped in and they fucking got that guy out of office, and they allowed these Islamic, radicalists to start running the country.
Well, that's when Hezbollah started, right?
I don't know exactly when Hezbollah started, but the point is the country was doing fine before we monkeyed with it, and we monkeyed with it because they were not getting enough of the money from the oil. Jesus Christ, you'd be mad too.
Yeah.
And when you're mad and you're surrounded by bigger enemies that all have nuclear weapons, you don't even have nuclear weapons, wouldn't you be trying to make them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying Iran should have nuclear weapons. I don't think anybody should have nuclear weapons.
But Israel gets to have them.
Allegedly. This is the problem. Allegedly.
Everything's allegedly with them.
Allegedly.
Except for the genocide.
You know, they don't officially
man.
have them.
Right.
I don't think they admit they officially have them. And you know who is a big opponent of Israel getting nuclear weapons?
JFK.
JFK. Yeah. That's what a lot of people think led back into the left.
Oh, yeah. Before they killed him, who? I don't know.
So the
What'd you say?
Iranian
Man,
Revolution.
now this got into a really spicy territory, and a lot of people have been clipping what Theo Vaughn said and trying to put their own spin and narrative on it. And it was a phenomenal interview. It was a phenomenal podcast. I really recommend people go and listen, because I think it's important for us to be able to have these discussions, to be able to play devil's advocate or listen to somebody playing devil's advocate, or just to listen to someone who has different opinions than us, because this is how we're supposed to be able to navigate through life. You don't want to be stuck in an echo chamber. You want to be able to have these types of conversations, or at least be able to listen to them. So there's the video. You're caught up on everything that's happened today and yesterday. And I want to pass a question off to you. What are you expecting is going to take place on Monday or Tuesday? Do you think that it's going to be haywire with the stock markets? Do you think that the war is going to turn into some massive development? Do you even think that this has the potential to escalate to somebody using nuclear? I'd really love to know your guys' opinion on this. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd mean the world to me for you guys to take the time to hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye for now. And as well, I want to wish everybody who's made it this far, happy Easter.